Harry Spencer? Did someone say identity crisis? For a bid to hijack his mother's legacy.
Harry and Meghan just got roasted by Spencer for their identity crisis. Harry's trying to ditch Windsor for Spencer, while Meghan insists on calling herself Sussex.
Meghan Markle recently claimed that their last name was Sussex now. It's always now. I always say Sussex now.
Despite all their rebranding efforts, they can't escape their royal past and seem to be clinging to titles and names for relevance.
Harry and Meghan, it appears they have become a joke absolutely everywhere. How's the joke being received?
First off, we've got to recognise that this whole identity crisis is tied to Harry's increasingly awkward attempt to shake off his royal past. Ever since the 2023 BBC interview where he lost his taxpayer-funded security, real tragic, huh? Harry's been spiralling. Public image, once carefully crafted through royal protocols, has become a mess. So now, in 2025, Harry wants to start fresh.
From spare to Spencer, Prince Harry is a man adrift. Prince William's younger brother's reported attempt to change his last name to Spencer is more than just a name swap, it's a red flag.
His idea? Changing his last name? Windsor? Too much baggage, apparently. Spencer. Now there's a name tied to Diana, the fairy tale princess, who had to juggle royal duties while being adored by the public. But Harry's got something mixed up here. You can't just flip the script, swap a name, and suddenly be the golden child of the royal legacy again. It's not a Netflix documentary, Harry. This is real life.
He's in the midst of a deep identity crisis. For someone who once embraced his royal role with pride, this latest move feels like an emotional freefall.
And honestly, Harry's desperation is becoming more and more apparent. He's trying to resurrect the magic of Diana, but let's face it, he's not her. He's no longer the beloved royal. He's now the 40-year-old man whose claim to fame is a pile of grievance-laden documentaries and overpriced media deals. So, yeah, he's thinking about changing his last name to Spencer, as if that'll somehow fix his deep-seated crisis of identity.
He even sought guidance from his uncle Earl Spencer on the matter. Insiders say Harold explored the possibility of adopting his late mother, Princess Diana's maiden name, which would have meant abandoning the Mountbatten-Windsor surname. You know, the same name he shares with his kids.
But why, though? Is he really trying to escape Windsor, or just trying to exploit his mother's name? Honestly, it sounds like a classic case of wanting to relive the past while not acknowledging the fact that it's long gone.
Consequences continues to escape this 40-year-old man's vocabulary. Mountbatten-Windsor.
Now, let's talk about why Harry might actually want to distance himself from the Windsor family. First off, Windsor is the name that ties him directly to the monarchy. And guess what? He's clearly not feeling it anymore. But that's a dangerous move. We're talking about a name that's not just a title. It's the crown jewel of British history.
Aside from public and family backlash, the biggest consequence of legally changing their names would potentially be a disruption or removal of their fancy royal titles.
Windsor isn't just some random surname, it's the royal family's emblem. Harry's thinking of throwing that away? Yeah, that's not going to fly under King Charles, or especially Prince William, who would definitely see this as a public slap in the face. And if he's planning on yanking the Mountbatten-Windsor surname from his children, Archie and Lily, I'm not even sure what kind of fallout he's prepared for. Legal battles, political drama, oh, it's coming.
In Harry's interview with Anderson Cooper for CBS's 60 Minutes, he angrily addressed why he and Meghan haven't renounced their titles. When asked directly, Harry replied, "And what difference would that make?" Well, it would give an ounce of credibility to the horror stories you peddle about your family, but
hey, if Harry thought it was a good idea, why not take a quick meeting with Uncle Earl Spencer? Earl Spencer, who's also looking at Harry like, "You really want to mess with that legacy?" Earl's advice: don't even try it.
cordial, Earl Spencer advised against the idea of changing his name, noting the avalanche of legal complications involved.
Sure, it's a nice thought. Ditch the name that ties you to a long line of royalty and slap on a new one tied to your mother's tragic yet iconic legacy. But Earl knows better. There's too much at stake, politically and legally. So Harry's left stuck, staring at a potential mess if he pushes this any further. Good luck with that, mate.
It also makes you look greedy and shameless to slap your titles on everything from edible flower petals.
And then there's Meghan. Oh, Meghan, the woman who's rebranding herself like she's about to launch a new line of skincare products. But instead of reinventing herself as a powerful, independent woman, which is what she claims she wants to do, she's decided to call herself Sussex now. Yeah, that's right. Meghan, once known as Markle, now insists on being called Sussex.
While Meghan told Oprah Winfrey back in 2021 that titles like princess and duchess were not important to her, the Sussex title situation has actually proven to be an incredibly sensitive subject for Harry and Meghan.
And you're probably thinking, wait, isn't that a royal title, not a last name? You'd be correct. But to Meghan, the line between title and name seems a bit blurry. She's out here pretending that by changing what she's called, she's magically transcending her former self, forgetting that nothing really changes unless you do the hard work. So, yeah, she's doubling down on this new identity, and guess what? It's not going as well as she thought.
The Duchess of Sussex on Instagram, Jamie Kern-Lima's big podcast guest get? Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex.
She even corrected someone on her Netflix series with Love Meghan and said it's not Markle anymore, it's Sussex. Really? You do realize that Sussex is still just a title, right? But hey, why let facts get in the way when you're trying to redefine yourself as royalty's most misunderstood star?
The 43-year-old allegedly former actress was joined by comedian Mindy Kaling. Meghan told her, "It's so funny you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know, I'm Sussex now." The scene was, unintentionally, incredibly funny.
Here's the thing. Meghan's trying to distance herself from her old name, the one that didn't give her the fame and fortune she wanted. But the reality is, no matter how many times she says it, Sussex isn't her name. It's a title. It's still a part of the royal family's gift to her when she married Harry. And yet, Meghan thinks that if she says it enough, people will forget she was just Rachel Meghan Markle, a second-tier actress who got lucky enough to marry into royalty.
Surveyed believe that King Charles should strip Harry of his royal title. I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. What's your take?
Let's not sugarcoat it. Meghan's rebranding is a desperate attempt to move away from her past as an actress who couldn't land a big role without the royal connection. It's as if she's trying to scrub away her history in a flash. Nice try, Meghan, but as we all know, no matter how many titles you give yourself, you can't erase your roots.
Don't think that they have remotely any clue as to how unpopular they truly have become.
Meghan Markle will always be Meghan Markle, no matter how much she wants to pretend she's Sussex. And let's be real, the more she pushes this narrative, the more it just looks like a woman trying to escape her lackluster Hollywood career by glomming onto her royal connections. That's the truth Meghan won't tell you.
Well, there are growing calls to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired.
Let's talk about Harry's so-called post-royal life. Harry, the man who thought he'd just stroll out of Buckingham Palace and into the sunset of freedom, has tried and failed at every attempt to create a meaningful life outside of his family's shadow. The first casualty, his Heart of Invictus documentary. Now, you'd think a documentary about veterans, a subject that should resonate with people, would at least get some traction. But nope. It was met with a collective meh from the public, earning minimal attention despite its important subject matter. In a world where millions of people pour their hearts into content that doesn't get noticed, Harry's doc should have been a surefire hit. Instead, it felt more like a forced attempt at relevancy. Here's the truth though. No one was buying the "I'm a serious advocate for veterans" angle when they know Harry's real gig is milking his family's name for fame and fortune. But it doesn't stop there. Then came the polo documentary. Yes, polo, that elite sport where people ride horses around and smack balls, all while showing off their money and status. Harry decided to take on this sport for a Netflix project. And if you didn't catch the sarcasm, let's just say it was another embarrassing flop. This time, Netflix didn't even bother trying to salvage it. The silence surrounding its release is deafening, and who could blame them? A polo documentary with no compelling hook, no emotional stakes, and no real substance. It's like watching someone try to make you care about a hobby that doesn't even need to be discussed on TV. Harry's desperate need to find meaning in a life that's clearly gone off track is just sad.
After stepping down as working royals, Harry insisted he wasn't walking away from his family, just from the system. But this, Harry Spencer, this is symbolic.
But let's talk about Meghan too. She's not exactly winning any trophies herself. Her solo projects are the definition of underwhelming. Her Netflix docu-series, Yawn, her podcast, even more forgettable. Meghan's lifestyle ventures seem to be nothing more than regurgitated grievances, rehashed into content that offers absolutely nothing fresh. It's just a mix of old stories about royal life, sprinkled with self-righteous tones, and maybe a hint of, look at me, I'm so enlightened now.
Spencer's story reflects a broader pattern in Harry and Meghan's public lives. Their repeated use of Princess Diana's memory as a kind of emotional currency, whether it's referencing her in interviews, in
Meghan, honey, we're tired of hearing you complain about your royal struggles when all you're doing is sitting on your throne of privilege. But let's be real. Meghan's career peaked with Suits and her royal wedding. Since then, it's been a steady decline, and this rebranding she's pushing just screams desperation. Changing from Markle to Sussex is just a gimmick to hold on to any scrap of relevance she can. It's all part of a larger performance to pretend like she's queen of the world, while reality keeps slapping her back into the role of former actress turned royal. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more.